Hi, I'm Melinda Henneberger with the Kansas City Star Editorial Board, and I'm here today with Toriano Porter, my colleague on the board. And we're so happy to welcome guests who a lot of our readers have said they really want to meet, and that's the Rolands, Maureen and Jamari, and their darling children, Audrey and Maxwell, who just moved here from Southern California a couple of months ago. And you guys have had quite a week.
It's been a lot this week.
So I guess we'll go just a little bit back to the beginning of when you guys moved here. Jamari, do you want to tell what your work brought you here? What brought you here exactly from California?
Yes. So I'm a special agent with the Bureau of Diplomatic Security Service. It's the law enforcement arm for the U.S. Department of State. And previously, I was assigned to our Los Angeles field office. And as part of one of our interagency exchange programs, we have a program with the U.S. Army, specifically the Command and General Staff School in Fort Leavenworth. So that was my time. So we moved up here this summer in anticipation of starting class this month.
Okay, great. Now, Maureen, you said you had never visited, although you guys have lived all over, you've traveled all over, you had never actually visited the Midwest before.
Never been to the Midwest. Originally, I'm from New Jersey and went to high school and college in Pennsylvania. Found myself, Jamari and I started dating in New Jersey and found myself all over the world, but never in the Midwest. So when I found out that Kansas City was our next spot, when he told me that, I was super excited, thinking Super Bowl champs, world's best barbecue, bring it on. It's going to be awesome.
Well, I hope that it will be, but tell a little bit about your first experiences. Like if you want to bring us back to the first day you got here when the moving van was still in front of your house.
My first experience seemed very friendly. A lot of people, the moving truck was outside bringing all the possessions in, and a lot of people were walking their dogs. It was super early in the morning, and people were walking around. And people were saying hi to me, and it didn't think anything of it. And then I noticed that my husband came around the corner. There was a gentleman that was walking his dog and caught my husband. He looked at my husband, and the face he made was like he was disgusted. And he turned around and walked away. And I thought, well, that was weird. And I saw him, and he saw me, and then he just walked the other way. And I thought, okay, well, maybe he didn't want to walk by. Maybe he didn't want to interrupt the moving truck. Didn't think too much of it. And then it was 4th of July night, and we actually heard racial slurs being yelled at the door where my husband was standing. So it was pretty undeniable that started to happen right away.
Right. That's okay.
It was really disheartening. And then we just started becoming uncomfortable. We became uncomfortable in our neighborhood. We became uncomfortable in public. We became uncomfortable going shopping, grocery shopping. We became concerned about putting our daughter in preschool. We weren't sure how she would be receptive based on the first couple of weeks that we had. And when anyone would ask, how's it going in Kansas City? My first reaction was, it's really difficult here, which was really hard.
Right. Maureen, Jamari, thank you guys for joining us. Not only joining us, but sharing your stories with our readers. It's really powerful. And I can only imagine what you guys are going through. It seems like we're in a twilight zone here when we're talking about some of the things that you guys were subjected to up there in Parkville. And that's from the outside looking in. What has it been like for you guys?
Well, it's been, as Maureen kind of hinted to, it's been, I guess, a rocky start. And it set the tone for us because we had never been to this area before we moved here due to the pandemic. So we really couldn't do too much research of what neighborhoods to live in. So when we got here, in the first day, we had the situation, and then 4th of July. We're asking ourselves, are we in the right place? Should we, move to another area? At that point, we had already signed the lease. So there's a lot of questions in our mind. And, as we go out into the public, if these two, people that we've encountered just in a matter of days, what are we going to be subjected to in the actual community? And so we're kind of, walking on eggshells. We weren't sure how we were going to be received by the community.
And to that note, it didn't get better. I know a lot of comments on the posts or on the social media forums were saying, well, it had to have gotten better when you went out, and it didn't. We had issues in Costco, and we had issues in Best Buy, and we had issues in restaurants, and it's not as if it was like an isolated situation. It seemed as if we were really unwelcomed.
Wow. Did you guys go through that in Jersey or Southern California at all?
We had some, nothing major. There was some occasions, at least in Southern California, where, people make comments and not directly, overtly to your face, but you can overhear people make comments, or they'll look at you weird and make comments under their breath that you listen to, but, you just kind of keep going on.
But this is not a Kansas City isolated issue. This is not something that's solely in Kansas City. We've experienced it most here, but this is something, like Jamari said, that we've had comments, we've had glares, stares, and uncomfortableness where people even get up and walk away. I mean, it's not uncommon across America right now.
Right. Do you think that's more, I know it's impossible to say for sure, but do you think it's more because of the moment we're in or because of the place that you're in?
I think maybe, the moment people, they have their opinion that they're entitled to, and, for whatever reason, they may feel the need to, be more aggressive or to express their opinions to other. Obviously there's a lot of protests and a lot of issues that have been ongoing in the news and the media. And so they may feel it's their time to voice their opinion, whether it's positive or negative.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, man, just tough. I come from a background where love is love. Two of my close friends that I play college football with, they're both they're both in interracial marriages and both have biracial children. As an African American man with African American children, I have a 21-year-old son that I have to give the talk to. You have two little ones here. What does the talk look like from your guys' end to your children about race relations in America?
I actually wrote about that in my post, and that's what started this, is that the talk is happening too soon for me.
Absolutely.
The talk is happening with a 3-year-old who just turned 3. She just had a birthday. So I'm forced for the first time ever to have a racial slur be screamed at my husband in public and say to my daughter, we don't act like that. That man, what he's doing, he needs a timeout. And we don't act like that. Or that woman that's pointing at us, we don't do that. We don't point at people. And then I have to say, she says, dude, why are they doing that? And I have to say, they're angry, they're mad. We love each other. Some people, they don't like other people. The world is made of beautiful people. You're unique. I have to have conversations with my daughter that I just wasn't quite prepared to have yet. So I'm using things that she understands, that people need timeouts for their behavior, and that the world is a rainbow of people, and that everyone is beautiful, and everyone deserves to be loved, and everyone has a voice. And why are we doing all these interviews is because mommy and daddy are using their voice.
Absolutely.
And it's important to have these conversations, but they're challenging with a 3-year-old. And
absolutely.
It's something that I wasn't prepared to have. And another point on that is that we weren't prepared to have conversations with our daughter with people hating her. And that's so overt, is that the hate was being screamed at our daughter too. And things like
that's
we're
the most
disgusting.
unbelievable part.
It was difficult.
Involving a toddler in this sickness. And
Yes.
have you ever experienced that anywhere before?
That, no.
Mm-hmm.
I've never experienced hate towards our children.
Right. And Jamari, I have to ask you, and I have to commend you as well for your discipline. And, as a man, as a father, as a protector, you could have, responded in many different ways, but you chose to use your voice Can you talk about how important that is?
Yeah, as a as you mentioned, being a husband and a father, I'm naturally inclined to come to their defense. Especially when you have a situation like that and you hear it, and it's like an immediate reaction. And I guess the one thing about my training that I've had, just kind of take a step back and to look at the I guess the circumstances, and I try to make it a teaching moment. For me to go up there and confront that person, it really is not going to accomplish anything but further their mission. So hey, you see how he acted. They use that as part of their energy to keep them going, and I know that I can use that into a positive moment, at least for my family, and say, hey, this is how you should not act. We treat people with respect, compassion, love. It doesn't matter what race they are, their religion, their sexual orientation. That doesn't define who you are as a human being.
Right. And something my colleague Melinda wrote about the second time on a follow-up. If you guys haven't checked out Maureen's and Jamari's story, please log on to kansascity.com and read Melinda's columns. But the second part was the good part about the community reaching out and letting you know, hey, Parkville's not like this. KC's not like this. Can you guys talk about the outpouring of support you've gotten since your story is starting to get traction?
Wow. First of all, I have a small blog. I think the majority of my 50 a month views were my own mom that read the blog. I really don't think people looked at my blog. So the fact that my blog has 10,000 plus on this one post, and then Melinda wrote the story, and emails have been pouring in. And I just told Melinda, we are reading every single one. I have over 600 emails. We're reading every single one. I'm reading every single Facebook message, and I'm trying my best to respond to every single one of them. The support has been overwhelming, and I haven't had a negative email come my way. Not one
That
single.
is so fantastic. Not one.
Not one single negative comment has come my way. We have had negativity on the internet with comments here, comments there, where it's easy to write something, but something that takes time and effort and thought to us directly through Facebook, Instagram, my blog, email. No one has said anything negative, which is truly amazing. The support has been, one neighborhood got together and they gave us gift cards to buy Kansas City merchandise that for a store that says Kansas City shirts. They said they want us to wear shirts proudly and remember Kansas City for what it's worth. We've had people contact us and say, we have the same story, which is really sad. We have very similar stories. We're sorry. This is our experience. And thank you for speaking out. We have people saying to us, come to our church. Check out our church. 99% of the people are saying, we want to be your friend. How can we connect to you? We've had invites to barbecues and people saying, can we invite you to dinner? Can we go for coffee? It's been absolutely amazing. But my ultimate is when the people are stopping and they see us and they're like, hey, you're welcome here. You are welcome here. Your family is welcome here. And so that's full circle.
Right. What do you make of that? Like the overwhelming negativity you were feeling versus this great embrace when people realize what's going on?
I think a lot of people, obviously we've received hundreds of emails and a lot of the emails are saying similar situations, that they either have a similar situation to our story or that they have friends who have a similar situation to our story, but they never said anything because they were fearful. Fearful of what would happen, fearful of their jobs, fearful that they would lose friends, fearful that they could get violent. So the fact that we spoke out, I think people are saying, thank you for speaking out. And it's just, it's heartwarming. These emails and these people saying stuff, and it went from negative to positive really quickly when it hit viral. So, you are skeptical, like, wait, no one, this is the reaction first, and now everybody's super positive. But we're overwhelmed with that. We're happy with that.
Right.
It's fine. We're fine with that.
I haven't even sent you a fraction of the ones I've gotten because there's so many.
There's
so
a lot
many.
of positive.
Yeah,
There's a lot of positive feedback.
Yeah, it's very heartening. They want to know you.
And I think if I could just kind of add to what Maureen was saying is, the one thing I think we wanted to get across is that we weren't trying to, talk bad about Kansas City and the area. We just want to share our experience. And I think we're seeing now, the real Kansas City, the true Northland area. And it's unfortunate, like I mentioned earlier, that those occasions where you have that negativity, it kind of set us, in that bad tone. But I think, through our time here, we met so many friendly people. We've visited so many places, barbecues. We go into the zoo. I mean, we've seen a lot here, what we can during the pandemic, and not everything has been bad. But so I think that's just one thing we want to bring across is we don't want to make it sound like Kansas City is this racist place that you shouldn't move to. We love it here. We're still gonna go out there and explore and see what Kansas City has to offer.
Yeah, and I was going to ask you guys, what are some of the positive things you have found out about this potentially great city?
Barbecue. we have we've gone to a couple great restaurants, and there's if I can, I mean, Parkville Coffee has totally welcomed our family. They even put on their Instagram post yesterday a photo of us and said, this family is welcome. We're sorry. The Bar Cave Dog Park, our daughter's absolute favorite place in the world. Q39 Barbecue, we absolutely love. There's places that we're going and that have never stopped us from going. These are places that we went before. This is places that I went before I wrote my blog. If you looked at the blog, you could see that. I mean, we went to the zoo. We went for barbecue. We went all these places, and these places made us feel welcome. There's a small fraction that I wrote about, and that's what was heard, and I'm grateful that was heard. I'm grateful that although we have had these fantastic places that we enjoy being and going to, it was difficult at first, and I think that that's a great point that we need to push, is that it was difficult for us. It was difficult for us, and it was apparently very difficult for other families as well that have reached out to us.
I love the idea that calling it out really does make a difference. I mean, you changed the kind of year you're going to have here because you were brave enough to talk about what was happening.
We weren't sure. We were reluctant.
Right.
I denied the interview a couple of times because I wasn't comfortable. I was fearful. But it changed.
Yeah, and again, it takes guts to tell your story. It takes guts to put your story out there. Your kids are on the front line. You guys are on the front line, and that's to be commended. And we wish you guys nothing but the best in your life, in your marriage, and your success, and navigating these rocky waters here in Kansas City, Missouri, and up in Parkville. But I think this is going to be one of those moments where we kind of shift the narrative and we start talking about how we can all come together as people. What are your thoughts on that?
It's time.
Yeah, we definitely agree.
Absolutely.
It's time.
I was wondering what you would tell your kids someday about this whole, they thankfully don't understand everything that's been going on right now, but what you'll tell them about this chapter, which has yet to be fully written, of course. But
yeah, I think at least from my perspective, I think this is something to make you stronger. No, not everyone's gonna like you for whatever reason, and that's okay. People have their own opinions, and to get them to realize that as you grow older, that you can't take every negative experience and think that you can't let it affect you too much and let it put a damper in your spirit. You have to keep driving on and move forward, and you recognize that, and hopefully, at that moment you can, speak with that person, try to see if you can, kind of open up a dialogue and express your point of view, and then, hopefully as we travel the world and we meet people from other countries, we can expand upon that, and whether it's race or nationality or whatever the case may be, that they can grow from this experience, and they can, build a stronger foundation for, their worth, and, bring positivity.
If I could just add to that, for me, I want my kids to take away that they have a voice. That they absolutely have a voice, and they need to use it. And they need to use it constructively, and they need to use it appropriately, but they have a voice, and that they should never feel silenced. They need to use their voice. And that's what we're doing. This isn't easy. This is by no means easy. It's hard to read really negative things on the internet about yourself and your kids and your husband. But it's time. America's ready. America's ready to change. And it's clear with all the hundreds of emails we're getting that there's no place for hate. Whether that's race, whether that's sexual orientation, whether that's religion, there's absolutely no place for hate, not in our home and not in America. And it's time for change.
I really got that from, and I mentioned this in the second column I did, from a lot of the mail I got from self-described old white guys who are not necessarily on board with Black Lives Matter, but they just thought this was wrong. And I really felt like, I think there is a hope, but I think there may be a new openness to no longer accepting things that have been too long accepted.
Yes, we hope, people also too are inspired by by our blog, and they, if there's issues that they, are affected by, that they, are courageous enough to go out there and speak, what's affecting them. A lot of people are scared of, retribution, or whether it be at their employer, the neighborhood, or, wherever the case may be. But, hopefully we can, inspire those, to speak out.
And you've gotten so much support at work, right?
Oh yeah, it's been tremendous. The emails they're flooded in with the State Department and the U.S. Army here. The senior leaders have been, very supportive, calling us essentially every day and asking us if we need anything. And it truly means a lot to our family, because we're kind of, away from our traditional State Department facilities, and being an interagency student with the Army, and so we kind of find ourselves in a weird space. But they've made it feel as home and made us feel like we're part of the family, so which is really great.
I hope you continue to feel more and more at home in Kansas City. And I thank you so much for sharing the story with us and with the whole community. I think it was really important. And thanks for coming on today.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Roland, Maureen, and Jamari. Good luck to you.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Thanks.
Have a great afternoon.
You too.